Hello, people of YouTube, and welcome to another episode of InfernoRemastered Portal 2's Let's Build. It's been a while since I've done my last one. It's mainly because of versus. It's just the versus maps I've made they're a lot more complicated. So I'm going to get around to doing a Lex build on some of those eventually. But for now, my last single player map that Rage has played was Yes, You Are Fucked Shit Out of Luck. Some more Tenacious D lyrics there. My sneaky peek of my map that he's about to play. He's about to play in probably a couple of hours. That's going to be interesting because he's doing another single player episode. So I'm going to have some more Portal 2 Let's Builds because he's doing some more single player maps again now. Yes, these will be coming back. So I shall show you how I created my last single player chamber. So let's go ahead and create a new map. Right, and as always, when I'm in the chamber, let's change all the portable surfaces. Oops. Oh my god, I can't double click today. All the portable surfaces. God damn it! There we go. To non-portable surfaces. Right, in the first room I had... Now this actually, I have to say guys, this first room glitched. It didn't work the way I wanted it to work, so he got past this first room a lot quicker than anticipated. Which was... I was waiting for one of the traps to work and it didn't because I put the activation block, and I kind of forgot I was doing a single player map and that certain things would work when it wouldn't in the two-player maps. For example, the beam bridge he walked across should have disappeared, which was over here on the first set of traps, and I had a trigger input. Now, on single player, I can use a trigger once input, which means it triggers once, so when he walks across this, the beam bridge will turn off, it will stay turned off. Which is good, but if you're playing two-player, you trigger it once, it stays turned off, because the map doesn't reset when you die, it stays turned off. So for the multiplayer, I would use a multiple trigger input. So there we go, one of those. So it would work multiple times. Now I placed the multiple trigger input in the wrong place. I placed it here, higher up the wall. When if that was a single trigger input, it would have been fine. I needed to place it lower down. So when this input triggers, whilst he's falling down through this block, the beam bridge stays turned off, and then he'll fall to his death. Because I placed it up here, where I would usually place it, but the wrong trigger input, it turns the bridge off, but because there's a small gap here, you can see there's a very thin gap, you leave the trigger input, so the beam bridge turns back on, pushing you back up into the trigger input, turning it off, and so it just looks like the bridge turns invisible, which you'll see in his episode. So yeah, that was my fault. He managed to glitch. The beam bridge should have killed him, but it didn't. So there was a much more difficult way of getting past the first puzzle, as it were. The correct way past was, so I had on one side a beam bridge, I had on the other a moving plate. Now on this side, if you tried to go across where the moving plate, there was where have they gone? One of these on the wall, and that was set to 90 degrees. A lot of people keep asking what mod I use. For Portal 2. It is just Bmod, spelled B-E-E, B-E-E. If you Google it, you should be able to find it. There is a newer, up-to-date B-mod that I haven't yet downloaded, so I'm actually still using the older version. I need to get around to doing that. So again, I had a trigger input here. So let's put this where it should be, because that just would annoy me. No, see, that would work now. Right. So again, this only needs to be a trigger once, because when it gets triggered, he would die, but I use multiple trigger inputs. But this one actually worked, so when he's on here and it's moving across, this would start non-deployed, it would deploy, pushing him off, and down through the lasers. So we had down here, we just had kill lasers, I believe, if I remember rightly. All the way across like that. As a type, lasers. And then the middle option, this was actually the correct option. Oh, it's not quite symmetrical. There we go. So the middle option was actually the correct option. Now you'll notice when he walked up, the bridges fell, so there were two of these. One here. Oh no, not of those. They're too big. Delete that. Two of these. Just copy that one. Put that one there. Starts enabled. And another one there. Okay, and now here I had a multiple trigger input here. So now this was connected to these two platforms. So when he stands here to try to jump across, these are too wide, aren't they, as well? Yeah, not doing so well at this today, Inferno. Right, because that jump's not possible. There we go, all sorted now. Right, so as he stands here to go to jump this gap, both of these bridges fall away, making the gap too big. However, if you jump out of the trigger input, the bridges will move back up. You can land on this bridge and safely jump across. That was the correct way to solve this puzzle. However, he went across the beam bridge because I was still thinking I was doing, well, I was still thinking it was a multiplayer map, and even if it was a multiplayer map, I'd done it wrong anyway. So that was my fault. Because I tested these two options. I didn't get around to testing that first one. So I usually test most of my options, but after killing myself about 20 times going through my own maps, it gets a bit repetitive. Okay, so the next chamber was another multiple choice. I didn't really do any puzzles in this one. This one was I was quite late watching his Portal episode, so Rage's Portal episode, so I didn't get around to making a map pretty much till the day before, so I didn't think of any puzzles. It was just all kind of multiple choice, this one. Because yeah, I do like to put puzzles in if I can. I don't like to leave it all multiple choice. Which there is on my next map, which is good. Right, so here we simply had, now this was actually just from my, oops, don't want that over there. This was from my Ultimate Tower Frustration. This was one of the traps he got past, which never went off. I can't remember if I put this in another map, but I think I checked and I didn't, so I've put it in this one. So this one, he simply, you have 3 rays across. Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm giving him, because what I'm now about to place in here, I'm using the auto portals. So by placing one in here, that means he's going to get the portal gun, which annoys Rage oh so much. Now these also have to be portable surfaces. So there are some people, if you're placing these have to be placed on the portable surface. If it's not a portable surface, they don't work. They just kind of teleport you into the middle of nowhere for some reason. So, right. So these are going to teleport him. I think one, I had a reset. So if he chooses the wrong one, which he was able to look through and kind of spot that it was the first chamber. So that was something else I could have made a little bit better. No, that's not right. That was completely wrong. There was one of these up there, because you place your blue portal there, and that sends you back to the back here. So, we had, just to stop him from jumping down and playing around with the stuff below, which I didn't want them doing, we had some more lasers. Let's change that to the laser. Hazard type. Laser field. Oh. Hazard type. Laser field. There we go. And then here we had the spikes on the ground. And why are these not working? Oh, they are working. It just looks red because it's through the lasers. So we had one here, and the room's not quite wide enough. This one's not going to be symmetrical, but nah. Well, another one there. So as you're walking across these beam bridges, if these spikes are activated, they're going to come up through the beam bridge and kill you. I don't think I can show you it. There you go. Kind of see. There we are. So it'll come up through the beam bridge and kill you. So I've put 3 there just so Rage doesn't look at one and think, well, that one's going to kill me. So on 1, we have to have the trigger input. So whilst he's walking across the bridge, it's going to activate the spikes. It's going to come up and kill him. And so I set it. These are a little bit further along because I didn't want them there straight away. And the trigger input. So that one was connected to some spikes. Another one, the beam bridge. Again, this didn't work because I think I put it in the wrong place again. The beam bridge was supposed to disappear and he was supposed to fall down through the lasers. I think he went on that one and that one didn't work because I did the same thing as the first one. And then the third one was not going to kill him. And I've got an extra portable surface. And just because that's going to annoy me for whilst I'm making the rest of the map. Okay, so once he sets a portal on one of these 3 portable surfaces, has to be this one, it's the only one you can get to, it will portal him through, so there's a trigger input on the end here, on the correct portable surfaces, which activates the next orange portal, taking him into the next room. So, because of this, you don't have to have these rooms attached. So, let's get the next room up, and whilst I can't remember the dimensions of this room, but I remember this one. So just reading my notes so I can remember exactly what I did. So this one, you come through to the next room via the orange portal. Now this one, there's more of a corridor. There we go. I can't remember how long this was, but we have 2 moving platforms. 1 and 2, which moved together in sync. And along here we had different things that would kill you. So basically you had to switch between the 2 platforms to stay alive, and you kind of don't know when. So let's put down here the kill lasers. I like to use the kill lasers instead of water because it is my specialty. So that's the wrong way. There we go. And change them to the kill lasers. So, along here we had, well, to stop him from, oh, so I've put that in the wrong place. That needs to be there. And this was a kill laser too. So to stop him from jumping across when I didn't want him to jump across, I put a kill laser down the middle, so he couldn't just try to jump on one. So we had to kind of guess when he needed to jump across to the other one through the kill laser, basically. So we had some doors. They're not doors. Some opening platforms at 90 degrees on the wall. So these platforms are starting at the wrong end, but eventually they make their way up and down. So he would jump on the platform when it starts here, moving along. Trigger input opens the door, and if he stays on, it's going to push him off down through the kill laser, so he needs to jump across to the other platform. So then on the ceiling here, we have another trigger input, which will, it's just not trigger once because it needs to temporarily disable this laser whilst he's jumping through it. So he can jump across to the other platform, and then on the other platform, I think at one point I had a hidden laser, but I'm not going to hide it because then you guys will know how. It has a type laser, so that would turn on. So it starts off. There we go, which would turn on with the trigger input when he got up to it. There's one there. So he would need to jump back across. So he needs another, another multiple trigger input. Oh, no, why am I not copying? Copy that one. That's the one. I jump back across to the far side now, and I also, which worked, I keep using those ones. I don't want those ones. It's the smaller ones. I had one that activates early. So let's set that to 90 degrees. And so instead of the trigger input being right next to it, it activates early further back here with a multiple trigger. So he will see it open, think, I need to jump across, go to jump across, and obviously this time the laser is not going to deactivate. And then when he comes out of the trigger input, it's going to close, and then he'll be able to continue on. So I think I had one more trap in there, but so he had to figure out his way, jumping across left to right, all the way to the end of the corridor. I believe it was a little bit longer than that, but I'm not going to go into in-depth detail in exactly how that was. After that, he goes through to the final decision area. So he would get to first platform to stand on. He had two portable surfaces he could have chose to go through, and one would have sent him back to the beginning, and the other has a trigger input which turns on the next portal, which was basically just right below this chamber. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Let's put that back. There you go. And that one as well. Like so. Right, so the next chamber just beneath is where he starts. This was, again, another... So this was more of a puzzle, to be honest, because it was not just a multiple decision. You kind of had to figure out how to get across the puzzle. That kills you lots. They're the ones I like. Right, so the final chamber was just a multiple choice faith plate, and I can't remember the layout of it exactly, so this is not going to be how it was. I'm just going to do this so it shows its purpose. So we had some water, more water, and more water. Faith plates, we had 1, 2, oops, and 3. I think he guessed this right first time, so it was quite a quick map. These were angled, they weren't all necessarily dead straight, but we had 3 areas. We had one here, another one here, and another one here. Okay, one of these would take you through to the final. In fact, I need to go back one more. I'm starting to use the shortcuts on my keyboard a lot more now. Okay, so we had 3 sets of lasers here. Let's just copy one from up there. It's a bit too long. It needs to be a single laser. It needs to be that way. Right. We had 3 decisions. I believe, just for the sake of doing it, these were swapped. Oops. Just to complicate things a bit more. I know these are all at the wrong angles, but right. So we had one, the lasers which just can stay turned on and kill you. Second, there would deactivate the lasers as you travelled through them, but would not kill you. So you could then either walk through the laser, but if you walked back through the same area, jump down into the water, there was not much more you could do. And the third one was the correct choice, which took you down to the final traps, which I don't like to show my final traps because I don't. Otherwise, everyone will be using them in their portal chambers, and that's one of the things that's mostly special about mine is my final traps. So we'll just do a corridor and put the exit at the end, like so. So that was. I've already forgotten the name of the map. That was this. Yes, that was Yes You Are Fucked, Shit Out of Luck. Tenacious D lyrics there again. Yes, I do like Tenacious D. Um, if anyone can guess what I'm naming a lot of my new maps, the lyrics I'm using for, I'm not using Tenacious D anymore. Good on you. I'll be really surprised if people can actually guess the lyrics. I've already named one, not necessarily lyrics, but song names as well, or album names I'm using. So there's a new band I'm using. I've had used Tenacious D far too much. So if you guys can guess, let me know. Put in the description below. In the description, put in the comments below. Obviously, only I can put in the description. Duh. So until next time, guys. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these portal builds. So they are coming back. I know I haven't done them in a while. Sorry about that. But there you go. There's another portal. Let's build, and there'll be more in the future. Till next time, guys. See ya.